morning, good day to you, as usual, wherever and whenever. Listen to this series of knowledge seekers from Keshe Foundation Spiritual Institute. In the past few weeks, as we're all aware, we're talking about time. Why time is important. In the structure of universe, we don't call it time. We call it manifestation, in a way from where a principle, entity, life, in any shape or form can be confirmed. But in the universal language, we are always aware in the back of our mind, in the knowledge of the creation, that every condition, every time, be it creation, be it development of a life cycle, there are magnetic fields which are involved. In a way, the time we measure is the manifestation of interaction of fields. We call it a dream, we call it lifetime, we connect to the dream, which is connection between the two different time zones, and we bring it back to be part of the reality of what we call physical life. The time zone, or what we call time of creation or manifestation, is always connected to another cycle of life with a time of its own. When our soul leaves the physical body, be it during the day and night, or when the physical tangibility of the body of the man is not needed, traveling on its own, that soul still has life, and he has a time. What does this mean? We live a two-time zone life. We are aware of it, but we deny it because it's been ridiculed. It's been, in a way, been put down by the others who deny their own existence. We walk, we eat, at the same time, inside we dream. We dream to go somewhere, we dream to be talking to someone, we keep a conversation going, and we still eat, sitting on the table. We're talking to someone, but the thoughts, the emotion is in the background running with another dimension. We call it a daydream, and we call it when I was sleep dream. But in fact, two parallel times are running at the same time. One in the dimension of energy and one in the dimension of physicality. We are used to schizophrenic life. And the only way we have managed to make it acceptable is to deny the other. In a way, when a man learns that the two time run together, and he has a pleasure and a privilege to be able to do so, then we'll see changes in the world of existence. Then we will find how we can help from the physical side to strengthen, to develop, to bring more in the dimension of the energy time into the physical time, and vice versa. We walk from home to supermarket because we planned, I need this and that, that's where I'm going to get it. We haven't learned to use the time of the soul. Can I have the energy of what I need in the supermarket to bring me what I need without me going? In a way, we need to create a time inside the time. And this is where man has fallen short in understanding the process of creation. Because as we evolved, as the dimension of the evolution is not limited and exclusivity of the man, the rest of the universe is evolving too. We, in different ways, and we have access to the dimension of the creation, are evolving at a soul level much, much faster, at a much higher level than the evolution in the physical side. The time of the physicality is literally lacking by billions of years the time of the soul, of the energy part. We look for to develop satellites, to connect, to me, create telephones. We create every way of communication to communicate on the physical time, where our actually soul is traveling the span of the universe without any satellite. It has a time of its own. You're sitting in an office and you feel there is something wrong or something is going to happen, and you call the wife. Yes, something happened. How did you know? It's not. We have not accepted that our soul is connected. We are at work, we think of something, and then at the same time, another emotion, another knowledge comes into it. Oh, I can do it this way, or it can be done. Because we deny that the soul is working in the background trying to improve your life, trying to change your life, trying to be in communication. But it has no satellite. It doesn't connect it. It's not connected to any mobile phone, and it has no connection with a physical dimension of the matter state in the universe. It has a time of its own. It exists on its own dimension, but sometimes, very seldom, tries to connect to physicality. And in a way, when you try so many times, you give up. That's it. It doesn't listen. I carry on with what I do. But when I get time, I do what I want to do. And each time, every time you change, you bring a new dimension of fields and energy, you create a new time. But all these times simultaneously run together. In a very simple example, we live here on Earth. We have decided that we time our life according to the rotation of this planet around this star. But our soul evolves and rotates in a dimension of the what we call dynamic structure of the creator. It has a different time zone. It evolves. The whole target of it, connection of it, is the soul of the creator, has his own time. It's very much, we have a time on this physical dimension, we've chosen to be the rotation of the earth around the sun, but again, there is a different time in the galaxy, because the sun has to rotate in own galaxy. And then, as we said, the galaxy in the universe. Nobody has ever patterned where and how our solar system is rotating inside the galaxy. Our system itself has another central connection, and that on its own connects to another central rotation that again connects to the central galaxy. Our sun cannot tune directly into the cycle of the what we call galaxy. It's impossibilities if you understand the pressures, the strength of the magnetic field. It works within a cluster, which this cluster on its own has a star of itself. And that connection, hundreds of thousands of stars connect to the next cycle, and then they themselves are connected to another, and then that, and again connected to another, connects to the center of galaxy field forces. It's not just that we are running around in the galaxy on our own and the rest of the 100 billion stars in it. Each one has its own time. Each one creates its own time combination in respect to. And then the same thing happens with the galaxies. Galaxies are in clusters. And these clusters again have central point field star. Sometimes our researchers find these stars, but they don't understand it. They consider it as they have found a star so many hundreds of times bigger than Earth. These stars have their own time, and these are the central galaxy time stars. These are the mother of for us. And then that mother again has another star which rotates. Once the world of science understand the deeper understanding of the time, space, position, they will find out that these stars are central clusters. And they create a different time in the dimension of the universal rotation. Our thoughts, our dreams, what we conceive to see has to cross these borders of the super galaxies connections as clusters. It's like going through different barriers. Because it can do this, because it has always done this, because our soul is a multiplicity of many magnetic field strengths from inside to outside. The outside deals with what is here, and then as the higher strength needed, the deeper we go inside, till that connection to the soul of the creator, which is said to be the center. And each stage has its own time. Each stage has its own creation of manifestation, which gives it conformation of existence and time. Once the man learns how to connect his time, man can travel the span of the universe to the creator. It's an art, it's understanding. How we are educated, how we understand this, it brings us to the next house. It rises our horizon to understand in the dimension of the soul and energy. Expectation according to the understanding of the field strength. Very much a man coming from a village to a town, seeing bigger things, and then going to the cities, and then traveling the continents, and then becoming man of space. We decide. It's the same body, it's the same structure, but how we use which magnetic field strength. You can train yourself to create time. You can train yourself to create what time, in which way the energy and the physicality time come together, and use it for transmutation, then transfer of energy by physical dimension of transportation. This is why we teach about the time. Because once you learn this, once you connect the time to the soul and connect the time to the soul of physicality and connect the time to the dimension of the physical man, you don't need to go through the energy time. You go through the time travel of its own. There is a trick into it. There is a method into it, how to travel amongst the times. How to call upon higher strength to be able to do that transition. We do it through narcotics, but we haven't learned to do it through free time. When man uses narcotics, that position, creating higher order energy to the brain of the man, which feeds the soul of the man at a higher connection, takes the man into the time of what you call hallucination. But in fact, you create a time to go deeper. Higher strength fields of the brain are opened up to the soul of the man. And we have to learn that process. This is what we denied. This is why we get addicted. Because we go to the position, we go to the dimension, which the higher order energy is received by the brain of the man, which means it opens up the level. In a way, what we do with the headsets to expand the, what we call dimension of the soul, is done through narcotics. It creates a new time of connection. Connects the higher order energy to the lower order energy of the physicality. We get this. We have this. We bring certain addictions into our lives to deny this, that we can access. We have the possibility, because this, every cell of the brain of the man has the same capability and power as the soul of the man. It's just that which layer of the onions we are preparing to take off. You got to remember, as I always said in some teachings, cut an onion in the center and look at the rings. The outer rings, the outer layers are very fluffy and weak. The inner ones, very center ones, are the point of power, because they have to push the others to find a space for themselves, to manifest themselves at the outer layer. This is how the soul works. The bigger ones are pushed by the stronger center that allows it to open up, to manifest itself. But there's always another center within the center within the center. Man sits on the outer layers of this ring structure, but still connected to the one in the center, because that center one is the one which pushes it away from himself. This is how we structured. This is how the life is. Then you understand. The little one in the middle has his own time as much as the one outside. But they're still connected through the fields with each other within the center point. This is how time is given to all to exist, but we can find a connection between all times. We see the rings, we see the little rings in the structure. But if you look, everything came from the center, from the root, which is the creator. Has no structure, but structures everything. That is the original time, because that time allows the rings to be created, given the strength to push, to structure, to harmonize the process of timing, that each layer has its own time, but they're all connected in time. If you go through the outer layer internally to the root, to where everything is connected, you can go to the center. You don't need to go outside. You don't need to go through inside. And that root section is like where you can bring the travel between the time of the man and the time of the soul. Transmute. But all times exist in all layers. But the strength, the power internally decides where and how we travel within. Transmutation through time is the key to travel to the soul of the Creator. To find yourself to be part of. Transmutation through time allows you to transfer, to travel the span of the universe. And as I said about the onions, if you know how to transmute, if you understand the power and the strength of the fields, you can travel within the soul of the others, as the souls are all connected to one soul of the Creator. Creation of the daughter of Mitra, done that way. No physical creation, interaction of the fields of the souls. It's not a physical penetration, it's connection, interaction by dimension of the fields of the highest order. Then you understand when you find a new position for the soul of the man, why you manifest yourself as a new star, as a new seed, as a dust. Because you have no more connection, time with the dimension of the physicality, which was part of the same time structure. You got rid of the outer layers of the onion. Now you can manifest in any rings of. The structure of the creation through time is the process which man has to understand. Don't forget, time was created out of position, place, time of physicality. And then you have the emotion, the intellect, and the enlightenment, the time of its own. But both physicality and intellect are connected to each other, which that creates the time of the creation. And we're dealing with that time. That's why physically we can breathe to bring to condition of a creation of a new time, that time can be close to the dimension of the time of the energy. Then we say, I can do things which cannot be done in physicality, because you have connected time of the physicality and time of energy together. Changing the dimension of the strength of the breathing, you change the time of the creation of the connection to the time of the, what we call the soul, the energy side. Then you feed yourself through the energy. That's why you don't need to eat. This is the real process that one has to understand. You create a time for connection of the two times together to create a new time condition that the two can feed each other. Once man understands how to play the creation of the time in the dimension of physicality and the energy, what we call the soul of the man, man will achieve the true transmutation. Tomorrow in the session of the Fridays, we'll try to bring you to that session and see how many of you can travel between each other's soul. Which one of you feels the other? Because we create that clash. In a 4-hour session tomorrow, all of you are together and see which one of you will contact each other and what you remember and what you've seen, what you remember and what you gave, what you remember, how you created that time. When you meet is where the new time starts. What you feel is where the new time starts. And what do you do with that time? And if you learn this, and you go through this process, you bring the time of physicality connected to the time of the energy, then you transmute. Otherwise, you're still dreaming. I made man in the image of myself because I am the image in the dimension of the time, in the dimension of energy, not the physicality. And this is what man has not understood. And if man understands and bring the dimension of the time and the energy into the dimension of the time and physicality, you will see the feature of the Creator. The connection, central energy of each manifests itself as the soul of physicality and the soul of the man. Energy. Physicality does not exist if it's not connected to the energy, it cannot be fed. This is why man kills to keep that physicality going. He has forgotten, he doesn't want to understand. He can connect to the dimension of the energy, and this is what I've said all the time. You feed the physicality through the soul of the man. Systems are getting developed to create that dimension and condition. We are creating a new dimension in supporting the life on this planet that man does not need to kill. Man can tap into the dimension of emotion and dimension of physicality, and in that process feed itself through. What was lacking and is lacking in the structure of the gravitational magnetic field of the Earth in a coming weeks will be supported with a new system which can support both. The man stops killing to survive. Most probably in July session, for the first time, we triggered this system, where man's dimension of physicality and dimension of emotion in the dimension of the soul will be fed, will be receiving what we need. We would like to know, if you complete, those of you who are in the July session, would you and how much you will change. In the coming weeks, we will show the structure of the new, what I call transmutation system. Transparent, where man can see the soul of itself. The new headset we put out last week is the connection to this system. We are not just releasing the head units just for something on its own. It's done to connect to this system. Would it stop you killing? Would it stop you abusing? Would it stop you eating? Would it stop you a lot of other things which you do? And would it give you a chance to transmute? We have changed the structure. If you remember, the steel ball I showed you a few weeks ago has flaws, has limitations. It brings a dimension of physicality into play, where now we don't have that. Evolution and technology makes the transmutation so possible that it's not just transmuting the Physicality of the man, it transmutes energy, information, emotion, everything which the man needs, and at the same time elevates the soul of the man to a new dimension. It's the structure where we create time between the soul of the man, and connection create time between the physicality of the man. The new system developed and is undergoing its full development will bring for the first time the condition that we do not touch the physicality. We deal with the soul of physicality and the soul of the man in the dimension of emotion of both. Look at the structure of your brain and where your soul is and the rest of this massive lump of matter that it has to control to be connected with that tiny little spot. Then you understand the game changer in the structure of this creation of time is upon us. We have developed it. It's going through its final phases of being developed completely to go through. But the structure will not allow dimension of physicality. Because the soul of the man and the soul of physicality are interconnected. They live through no physical dimension of conversion into matter state. The way your brain works, the way your brain energy fields connects to the soul of the man, the time of the creation. Once man goes through this process, understands how to create time, you will understand how fast the world of science will change. It's time to release this knowledge. And we are developing that technology. No need for mobile phone, no need for food, no need for transportation, as man transmutes through the dimension of the fields of the creation and the creator. Try to understand the process of the creation of time, how your physical dimension creates its time, and how energy inside of you creates its time. And when you can connect the two together, which sometimes you do, and then when it becomes a dream, then you understand how the reality has been denied by the man. It's not two timing. It's understanding the two times which creates creation. Creation cannot exist without the dimension of confirmation of its physicality, which gives the starting time. And the creation of physicality cannot exist without the energy side. Why man has chosen to kill, to take that little bit, which we understand how, then directly using the soul of physicality. And then directly using the what we call the soul of the man. We don't need to put the seed inside to attract. We need to transfer the energy from the energy side to release itself within the dimension of physicality. Most probably the most important part of all the teachings in past 11, 12 years and plus other teachings was to bring man to understand the creation of time. Time is created out of the emotion of fields and not by the dimension of the physicality of the matter. We go for a break. And if you understood today's teaching, you already have become a traveler of the universe.